How long does a cat hold its own stretch?
But have you ever wondered why do you need to hold the stretch for a period of time in the first place? And why do most people still hold the stretch longer compared to dynamic type that is no stretch holding whatsoever? I am curious, how long do you actually hold your stretch? Leave your answer in the comment section below. Tell me why and how did you learn about your first stretch technique? Hit the subscribe button and remember to like if you are intrigued to what you are about to learn today that most people doesn't know. And share this topic to your friends and loved ones if you are care enough to send the very best channel, Hi again. If I were you, I will stick till the end of this video because there is a bonus tips waiting for you. It will help you optimize your stretch technique and achieve your goal fast. Take it or leave it. For the first question, a rubber band is the best example on how the application of stretch force and time or duration affects the properties of soft tissue. When you stretch a rubber band gradually and slowly just right to its safe limit that it does not break, and then you hold and keep the exact length that you produce, let's just say 30 to 60 seconds. What do you think will happen? You are right. The rubber band will be deformed to be longer than its previous length. And that is a scientific fact. The application of gradual stress force brought about by slow stretch force is able to produce a new measurable length. This is the same thing that happened when you stretch a specific part of your body. Doing this regularly as part of your training program, adaptation takes place in time, and you may be able to retain the length or flexibility that you are producing. Going back to the rubber band analogy, could you somehow picture in your mind the probable outcome of the rubber band properties as you continuously apply this approach? And maybe increasing the amount of time keeping the rubber band in a stretch state, like more than 60 minutes, and doing this more frequently. What do you think will happen to the rubber band over time? That is right again. You will notice that the elasticity properties begins to disappear, followed by breakdown of the material. The rubber band becomes dry in consistency, cracked and crumbled. When you properly stretch your body, muscles are the primary soft tissue that is immediately affected and responding. The amount of time you hold the stretch and the amount of intensity you apply will greatly determine how much benefit or risk that you could possibly produce. Let me further explain this. Let's first discuss and explain the risk of this type of stretching, which is called static or passive stretch. This is actually the most common stretch that most people are familiar with. For every stretch that you held, blood flow is affected, beside the objective of lengthening the soft tissue. The longer the disruption of blood flow, the more likely that you produce micro injury to the area that is forced to stretch. That is what I called the killing me softly effect. You are gradually depriving part of your body with oxygen and nutrients. Make sense? In addition, prolonged intense stretch further aggravates blood circulation. Static or passive stretch has usual tendency to overstimulate your protective mechanism called reflex, making your muscle more tense and angry, creating more obstruction to blood flow. The more you pull and keep holding the stretch, reflex-stimulated muscle oppositely pulled against it, mimicking a tug-of-war-like fashion, leading to increased breakdown of soft tissue. Have you ever thought about the reason why you are sore the next day? I think you know the answer now. The soreness is brought about by this common prolonged intense stretching. If your goal is geared towards health and self-preservation, which this channel is actually providing you, the amount of risk and injury is one major factor that you should stay away. Do you agree to that? You rather choose a stretch type that increase and promote blood flow while providing or improving your flexibility. Is that better? And you rather have less soreness to be more comfortably consistent with your stretching routine. The solution? By holding your stretch to less than 2 seconds and repeating the stretch hold to a range of around 6 to 12 reps, you will reverse the negative effect of static stretching to your blood circulation integrity. Instead, with repetitive, short stretch hold, you will encourage better and continuous blood circulation, less damage to the soft tissue, and enhanced recovery. An absolute reverse engineer approach to functional flexibility. This technique is actually called active isolated stretch, or AIS. The scientific mechanism of action that is recently accepted by medical profession is the progressive repetition principle. Though passive stretch or static stretch is effective for lengthening specifically soft tissue, this is a tool that I considered aggressive on the wrong hands and should be handled carefully by stretch practitioner, whether it be assisted or self-stretch. That is why in clinical setting, rehab such as physical therapy, a long duration stretch is still the gold standard. This method reduces the risk of expected complication from serious cases like fracture or soft tissue injury. Obviously, there is a need of urgency to prevent abnormal healing like permanent limited range of motion. The same urgency you find in competitive sports like gymnastics, figure skating, or ballet. The requirements to be in this sport is to be beyond your natural functional flexibility. And it is also beyond our topic for today. An ideal functional flexibility can be achieved by active isolated stretch alone. And this is what you need for your daily demand in life. Static stretch might work for you still, but the risk factors outweighs the benefit you get from active isolated stretch method.